This is why we need body cameras, to prevent... Normal people don't talk like that. Have you noticed his face? Watch his face one more time real quick. I think I'm still not letting him go. I am so upset with this guy that he will not tell the truth. Oh, listen to his words. Oh my God. That's a valid question. Ask it. No, I am just questioning because the credibility of the officer is now under attack. I hate snake prosecutors. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to your favorite show on the internet, Raw Law Unfiltered, with your favorite host of all time, the DUI Guy. Plus, today we are going to continue the saga of Officer Oliver, who is still under oath on cross-examination. He just perjured himself, but we don't know that yet. I know he's lying, but I can't prove it at this very moment in the trial. Now, the prosecutor, Lee Wilson, we have the judge, the jury, myself, cross-examining Officer Oliver. Evan Bates, my associate, is behind me, and seated next to him is my client, Mr. Fernandez. Now, last we left him, he is denying that another officer was on scene, Officer Ppool. Officer Ppool, I had the computer-assisted dispatch log with me, and it specifically said Officer Ppool was dispatched at the exact same time as Officer Oliver, and we have the subsequent video from 7 months later where he actually admits, oh, my bad, yeah, there was another guy there. Now, you got me by the balls, Mr. Forman. You got me. So, yeah, there was another officer there. Oh, Mr. Wilson, are you going to prosecute him? Nah, he's my buddy. Oh, okay, well, I'll be on my way back home. Thank you very much, corrupt gentleman. What? Whatever. Let's keep going.
So your only point of contention is you don't know why they wrote in Deputy Ppool around the exact same time that you were on scene with Mr. Fernandez.
I don't know because he was not there when I got out with him, so I don't know why they dispatched that. I don't know if they dispatched him at the time that I got a traffic stop and documented it that way. I really can't answer that for him. I don't know.
I mean, he's just burying himself, the lying, slimy, greasy weasel. Oh, I am sorry. It makes me sick when people lie just for the sake of convicting people. Just because you had no body camera. This is why we need body cameras, folks. This slime bag, this grease bag right here. This is why we need body cameras. To prevent officers from lying through their teeth. I already proved that he's lying and he's still lying. Well, he knows he can't recant it now because he can... I mean, all he has to say really is like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, actually, wait a second. I was confusing this stop with another stop. No. Officer Ppool was there with me. I remember him now. Oops. Even that would be better than to just grind through your... Oh, I can't stand it, folks. I cannot stand it.
Sometimes I have trouble with military time.
I'm trying to put the blame on myself. Like, oh, sometimes I have trouble with military time. Maybe you can clarify something for me. Because again, you just said that he may have arrived sometime after or before. It was the wrong time. It was the right time. I just wanted clarification purposes. Can you please help me out here? You're the damsel in distress and he's your rescuer when in reality you're about to cook his duck.
But 21, 26, 17 is 9:26, correct?
9:26 p.m., 17 seconds, yeah.
And on your citation, that's for Deputy Ppool, right? Is it Ppool? Is that what you call him?
People, yeah.
Ppool.
Yeah.
I thought it was a typo, so I apologize. And the time on your citation is documented as 9:26 as the violation time.
Nailed him. I absolutely nailed him. 9:26 is when Officer Ppool was en route. And 9:26 is the time on your citation. So I gotcha. You're lying. Now the next question is, does the jury care? We'll find out. Or maybe we won't.
That would have been, I would use that time for what time they had me, well, in this case, on scene or dispatched, which would technically be my stop time.
And it is your testimony here today that Deputy Ppool was never present on
I
scene.
just can't pronounce his name correctly for the life of me. Officer Ppool. Officer Ppool. I know now. I've learned. Okay, I've matured. I've been humbled.
If he was present there with the vehicle,
While you were there, excuse me, allow me to modify.
he may have been, but throughout my traffic stop, no.
Lying,
You did not see him.
lying. And I'm building the record.
If he showed up at the end,
It's all
possibly,
good.
I'm not sure, I don't remember, but No, I mean, he was not with me when I conducted the stop.
Oh, you liar.
For the duration of the night, let's say from 9:26 until the arrest was made, you have no recollection, you don't remember whether or not Deputy Ppool was with you or not.
When I conducted the traffic stop, he was not with me. If he showed up at a later point to deal with the vehicle, because sometimes we do that, if somebody needs to stand by with a vehicle or something.
Notice how he's talking like he's got that little out of the side of his mouth. I mean, you can tell it's like a nervous tick. Like, well, you know, if he showed up at a later time, like he may have. Like normal people don't talk like that. Have you noticed his face? Watch his face one more time, real quick.
When I conducted the traffic stop, he was not with me. If he showed up at a later point to deal with the vehicle, because sometimes we do that. If somebody needs to stand by with a vehicle or something, then we do that. And if that was the case, it may have happened. I don't recall.
He's got that twitch, that face twitch. He's not smiling. He's not smirking. He's lying, and that's like his face just revealing himself. He just can't. I mean, it's an involuntary twitch, just like officers get the involuntary jerking of the eyes. Well, here we have the involuntary lying sack of crap twitch. The Pay attention to those. If you ever see that again, maybe this might be your cue that the person you're speaking with is not being entirely honest with you. Not necessarily. Maybe they just have a nervous tick, but it's something to watch out for. Body language experts who, like Joe Navarro, who used to work for the FBI, they will tell you that people have these little cues, right? But you have to look at them in clusters. You can't just be like, aha, I have one clue and therefore they're lying. You can't do that. Lying cues are part of a cluster. So if you see like uncomfortable shifting, maybe folding of the arms, folding of the hands, a little bit of the twitching of the mouth, shifty eyes, that in combination may be a much better indicator of lying than if someone is, with their, you can't see my legs, but the legs are open and the hands are comfortable and they're kind of leaning on their, and then all of a sudden they start doing this. I mean, that may or may not be a lie, it might be just a nervous tick. So Joe Navarro, by the way, if you haven't checked out his book, check out his book. It is phenomenal read. Absolutely phenomenal. What everybody is saying. An ex-FBI agent's guide to speed reading people. If you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. # not sponsored. Joe, you're welcome for this one. You deserve it. I read it myself back in my youth, and it is so good.
Asking you to speculate, I'm asking you a question of whether you saw, heard, smelled Deputy Ppool. Was he there or not there? What I'm hearing you say is you don't remember if he was or not. Is that correct?
Right, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
He may have showed up at the end. I don't remember.
You just don't remember?
Yeah.
Okay. But not at 9:26:17, as
Not
the
when I
CAD detail
initially
says.
conducted the traffic stop.
Notice how he's interrupting me now. I'm just trying to clarify. He can't stand me telling the truth. He can't stand me calling him out, so he just cut me off.
I was on patrol and saw the vehicle and stopped it there, so I mean he wasn't with me.
At this point, because I know he's lying, I'm just trying to build a record actually for Lee. Now, at this time, I didn't know that Lee Wilson is not going to prosecute Officer Oliver for perjury. I really wanted him to, and I was really hoping he would, but of course, they're in bed together, business-like speaking, so that never happened. But I still have to do my job. I still have to build a record, If I could prosecute him, I would. The problem is I can't. I'm not a prosecutor. Or do I ever want to be? People say I should be a judge. Do you think I would make a good judge? I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, so just for clarification, because I'm a little confused, as I'm sure the jury is too.
I think I'm still not letting him go, but I believe I am so upset with this guy that he will not tell the truth.
You testified that for the duration of the stop, you were the only officer on scene. So you conducted the entire investigation with Mr. Fernandez, stop to arrest by yourself, correct?
Yes.
There was nobody else.
Listen to his words. Because I will not release him. You can almost hear him swallowing his words. Yes. Watch it again. Watch the answer. Oh my God.
Arrest by yourself. correct?
Yes.
There was
Yeah. It's almost like a deflated, like, oh my God, what does he have now? Because I just walked over to Evan and I asked him a question.
nobody else.
No.
Okay. After the arrest was made, I asked you a few minutes ago what happened to the car. And you said, although I did not have any conversations with Mr. Fernandez's wife, it was released to her.
He did say that. Watch the
To
previous
her.
video if you don't remember that part. Because I remember we did that.
Well, I didn't have any in-depth conversation with her. I would have spoke with her to explain the situation, and I don't recall this right off the top of my head of any specifics, but
Of course you
if she
don't.
was in the car, obviously would have had to explain to her what was going on. If the car was released to her, we would have explained that to her. I don't remember any detailed conversation that I had with her, any specifics, but I know that that would have been done as long as she was sober and she had a driver's license.
Do you remember conducting any field sobriety tests on Mr. Fernandez's wife?
Very important because he said she was sober or seemed sober or whatever. Did you ever conduct any field sobriety tests on her? That's a valid question. Ask it. No.
Did you breathalyze her?
I don't recall.
Did you ask her?
Approach, Your Honor.
Oh, the prosecutor has an objection. Apparently he doesn't like what I'm doing here. Let's find out what he wants.
You get pretty close in the PBT territory on the wife. I think it's going to raise questions. I think the question already being asked about breathalyzing her on the side of the road, I think we were over that line.
Your Honor, since I'm asking about a completely different witness, I'm not asking about my client. I think that does not open the door whatsoever.
How is that relevant?
Well, because if the officer did not conduct a full investigation to make sure that the passenger is sober enough to drive the vehicle, it goes to the heart of his credibility as a police officer. He just
So the prosecutor is saying, I just opened the door to talk about the breathalyzer, which I believe was either suppressed or not used or something like that. But I'm asking about, did he breathalyze his wife? And now the prosecutor's like, oh, he's asking about the breathalyzer. He opened the door. I can ask about everything about the breathalyzer. No, I am just questioning because the credibility of the officer is now under attack. He basically was just like, well, I got my arrest. Ma'am, yeah, you're free to go. I don't care. Do what you want. That goes to the credibility of the officer's investigation and his capabilities as an officer. And if he is screwing up with her, well, maybe he's screwing up with him too. You see what I'm saying? It's a totality of the circumstances screw up of the officer. That's what you're after. And Lee Wilson is trying to be a little weasel snake and kind of be like, you're cutting a little close to the line there, Mr. Forman. Maybe now I can insert myself with the breathalyzer on your client as well. No, that's not how that works, and you know it. I hate snake prosecutors.
it's my determination. He seems so go ahead. That goes to his credibility in front of the jury.
If you can keep it in line with credibility, I'll allow it. It's getting very close, though.
No, it's not. The judges are trying to give the prosecutor the benefit because he doesn't know what the heck he's doing. Judges will sometimes do that. You just have to go with it. I recently had a judge say, both sides have made excellent arguments, and I literally looked at him and I was like, I know I made excellent arguments. The prosecutor didn't make any useful argument. His arguments were completely useless, but the judge just wants to give credit where credit is due. And at the end of the trial, he was like, both sides did very well. And I was like, well, I know half of that statement is true. No offense to the prosecutor. Oh, excuse me. No offense to the judge. Every offense to the prosecutor who deserved it.
So you did not conduct field sobriety tests on Ms. Fernandez.
And again, see how I immediately go right back to the questioning. So this is a very important learning moment for you all. The minute I get back to the podium, the jury thinks like whatever was objected to, because they don't get to hear our bench conference, they're like, well, maybe the defense attorney just crossed the line and the prosecutor caught him on it. And you go back and you're just like, well, and if you move on to the next point, they're like, yeah, I think he did something he was not supposed to. If I go right back in to the same line of questioning that, they're like, the prosecutor had a point that was completely unrelated. That's a very, very important nuance. So when you are doing your cross examinations and there's an objection and it gets overruled and you are still in the driver's seat, remember where you left off. I know it's not easy. You might be stressed. Remember, at this point, I've already conducted about 36 trials in my career, so it's not my first rodeo. And eventually you will have like a little bookmark in your head. And if not, write it down. Or if you have a list of questions, put a little check mark on the last question you asked and re-ask that same question. Now, if the objection was sustained, obviously you have to move on. You have no choice. Maybe you can rephrase the question. Go back to the question where you check marked and try and rephrase it. If you get objected to again, then you're running into issues, and you don't want to be like trying to ask the same question 3 different ways, get objected to, and just frustrate the jury, the prosecutor, the judge, your witness. That you don't want to do. Or just then move on to the next question. Easy. If you have to, then do it. But if you won the objection, go right back to where you were. I just asked you, were you driving the red car? Objection, Your Honor, not in evidence or whatever. And then you go back to the conference and then the judge goes, objection overruled. He may answer, and then go right back. And you were driving the red car, yes or no? Because now the jury knows, the prosecutor is an idiot. He made a useless objection, or maybe he objected to something that is not part of this line of questioning. The signal. There are a lot of signals and unheard cues in a jury trial, and you have to learn what they are. This is one of them. Signaling to the jury that whatever the prosecutor went to the bench over with you has nothing to do with your question, if that is true. If not, then move on.
So you did not conduct field sobriety tests on Ms. Fernandez, to your knowledge,
I don't believe so.
and you released the vehicle to her.
We released the vehicle to her. We towed the vehicle. I don't recall.
Would it help refresh your recollection if I were to refer you to the CAD detail we just reviewed on a different page? If I may approach, Your Honor.
No.
Notice I did not wait for him to answer. Do you think it would refresh your recollection? I don't care what his answer is. This is going to refresh your recollection, and I'm about to show it to you. And you just go for it.
Remarks by Agent Samantha on the 21st of August at 9:37:27. What does that say?
Vehicles left a passenger.
Notice how uncomfortable he is. He realizes, okay, well, I don't remember. There's nothing wrong with not remembering. But he's lied so much, he's afraid what else I'm about to get him on. Vehicle was left to passenger. Does that answer your question, you dummy? Oh, so frustrating.
Vehicle is being left to passenger, right? Does that refresh your recollection as to what happened that night?
Guess we released the vehicle to her.
I guess we released the vehicle to her. That one you definitely want to get an answer from him. And again, look at how uncomfortable he is, because we got the truth out of him.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
I said I guess we would have released the vehicle to her.
Oh, that is beautiful what I did there. I completely forgot this point. Again, I'm sorry. You were so soft spoken. I couldn't hear. Can you please repeat? I guess we released the vehicle to her. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry I couldn't hear your previous answer. Oh, I heard him. I heard him both times. I just wanted him to say it twice because I nailed him again. And this time he had zero escape.
So on that point, the CAD is accurate.
Again, I don't care about the answer. So on that point, the CAD is accurate. On the other stuff about Officer Ppool, not accurate? Oh. Okay.
That's all the questions I have, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and comment. Yeah, what an absolute disaster. This series is really taking off, you guys. We're still not done with it. There's still the redirect examination. The hottest video in this series is yet to come. The absolute monstrosity, the mistrial. Over the next few minutes on redirect examination, in the next video, you will hear me say how and why the officer got creamed and he ruined the entire jury trial single-handedly with some assistance from Lee Wilson. So stay tuned. I love you all. Raw Law Unfiltered, your favorite show on the internet with your favorite host, the DUI Guy Plus, signing off. Bye, everybody. I'll see you in the next video tomorrow at 6 p.m. Bye-bye.